When I was a youngster growing up in the church, I learned early on that just because a man is standing up on that stage preaching the word of God, claiming to be a man of God, does not mean that they are without sin. As a matter of fact, more than likely, the individual up there who had the most smoke for everybody else who was sitting in the midst of the congregation, yeah, they likely had even more skeletons in those closets than you did. Now, I'm not trying to say that your preacher, your pastor, whoever it is, wicked and deceitful and sinful. You probably have a wonderful pastor, a wonderful rabbi, a wonderful imam. What I'm saying is, it's a very easy place to hide. When you are preaching this message of shame on everybody else for doing whatever it is that they're doing, be very careful that you're not living in contradiction. That's why the message that I put out, because it can come off preachy as hell, right? For some, they think that I'm, basically attacking them or whatever it may be, but I'm just pointing out what I believe to be truth from my own perspective. But I made sure that I checked my eye first. I made sure that I didn't have a big old log in mine before I checked out the little speck in anybody else's. And so I wanted to make that clear from the very beginning to say I will never turn that camera on unless I am living in complete and absolute wash-handedness. If I am living in complete and absolute transparency to say, this is where I F up, this is where I F up, this is what I finally got together, this is how I did exactly that, right? That's why I speak of being an addict. That's why I speak of being a D-boy. That's why I speak of being given over to the ghetto mentality and faking a persona, pretending to be somebody that I was not, losing friends to this lifestyle. That's not to brag, but that's to show y'all the reason why I'm so adamant and dogged about this message is because I've lived this life. I've gone through these things and others have gone through significantly worse. And to those, I pray that they never have to experience that. I pray that everybody can see themselves through the eyes of God, see themselves through the eyes of Creator and really know man, I'm here with a purpose. I am loved. I am worth more than this. When it's all said and done, that's what I'm trying to get to. But the reason I give this entire diatribe, and it seems likely unrelated to the subject, is because when I heard this story of a young dude by the name of Harry Sisson, it's quite a fitting last name if we just add a Y to the end of that. Yeah, he was a dude who essentially was exposed for being paid by the DNC or the Democratic National Convention, right? The platform that is the Democratic Plantation of 2025, the year of our Lord, 2025. He and a host of other quote unquote influencers are being paid millions of dollars to continue to push this so-called Democratic agenda, aka this woke propaganda, basically. And he's been a very outspoken guy, especially when it comes to the subject of women and respecting women. There's this idea that the left just seems to have a monopoly on respecting women, on caring for women's rights, which has been very ironic if you look at the actual policies and politics, when you see the fact that women are now being second-class citizens to pretend women, but I digress, subject for another time. But this dude has been very vocal about even things like this. On election night, he put this message out: I will let him speak for himself. So without further ado, let's get into Harry's opinion of what exactly we all did, those who voted from a place of common sense instead of emotion, what we all did to women on that unfaithful night. So let me make sure my levels are leveling. This is the first video I'm playing out today, so forgive me if the sound is low, quiet.
Between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know. So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight, primarily. Trump has. So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight, primarily. Trump has insulted women.
Do y'all remember the demographics breakdown of exactly what happened on that fateful evening, November 5th, 2024? the year of our Lord, 2024. Do you all remember what the hell happened that day? Or an evening, I guess. It was a very short evening for all us Kamala supporters. Remember when her security or whoever the hell it was, one of her staffers came out and said, hey, everybody who came to see your queen. Yeah, turns out that you're going to have to go home tonight because she ain't coming. And you're best to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow for the results, which will be in your favor, I'm sure. But leave the campus now. Please leave the campus now. Do y'all remember that? I don't know if y'all remember that or not.
So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight, primarily. Trump has...
Ladies, please let me know in the comment section. Did America fail you the moment they decided to vote for DJT, Donald Django Trump, because he is indeed a free man, as opposed to Kamala Harris, a woman who stood for literally nothing at all, who didn't stand for you, well, at least not you necessarily. She stood for maybe your right to unalive your child, right? That was pretty much the entire campaign. I am going to make sure that you can unalive as many of your babies as humanly possible. That's basically was her platform. So let me know in the comment section, where did America fail you by getting DJT in the office? Where were you failed? Please let me know personally, because obviously he must know something we don't.
Insulted women, berated them, has been found liable in court for assaulting a woman.
Okay, that's called defamation suit coming your way, Mr. Harry Sisson. In the same way ABC got their way into the Oh Not Me. $15 million paid because of George Stephanopoulos and the words that came out of his mouth, the continuous slander, the vile cretins on this mass media platform that continue to lie and get away with it is incredible to me. But we're going to let you continue to cook because you seem to have a lot to say for somebody who's got a lot going on behind the scenes. Again, this is all a buildup, folks. This is all a buildup. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
And he took women's reproductive rights away. And
comment section, hit it immediately. Which right is gone? Which one? Which one? Because some of y'all were looking forward to no longer having to work. You know what I mean? Having that excuse of, well, women can't work no more. You got to be back in the kitchen. Some of y'all say, wait a minute, huh? I mean, it's not going to be on the table anymore? Shoot. Oh, man, that's tough. Oh, well. Nope. You woke your ass up on November 6th, 2024, and you got right back to work. Unless you were liberal, then in that case, you probably got the week off of work because it was just too much trauma.
Instead of standing up to that, people voted for it. And we failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives tonight.
The Laken Riley Act was passed by Donald Trump 1 month and 15 days into office. The Laken Riley Act was passed by Donald Trump. The same act or bill that essentially was denied by almost every Democrat in the House and the Senate. The Riley-Gaines Act, also signed into legislation by the Riley-Gaines Act, also signed into legislation. Well, that one happened to be signed in because of a majority House and Senate of Republicans. So where was your party when women needed you most? Where were they, Harry? I'm still waiting. But again, we're getting to what we're getting to because you seem to have all of this care for women and doing women right, our daughters, our mothers, our sisters. They were let down by us, right? Okay. We're going to let you finish. There's only we got 30 more seconds of this yapping and it's time for our expose.
America failed them. We failed them. It is unfortunately the reality of the situation. So I'm sorry to everybody out there who will be impacted by what may come.
Now it's interesting. It's interesting to hear this young man speak so passionately about women and how we care for women and how we treat women, especially as men. Because that is oftentimes the messaging, right? It is the patriarchy that is doing this to women. It is, it's toxic masculinity that has been so pervasive for so long and has kept women down, below nothingness, right? Okay. So with that going, let's get into this little story, shall we? Let's get into this.
Unwrap. The man who just can't leave women alone, Harry Sisson. If you didn't know, Harry's a 23-year-old TikTok political poster boy who used to ride for Biden and the DNC, but now he's riding straight into scandal after 11 women came forward saying he finessed them emotionally, tricked them into thinking they were exclusive, and even pressured them to send explicit content. Like, sir, you were out here campaigning and collecting nudes? Wow. Talk about being ambidextrous.
What kicked all of this off? Well, Harry, being the genius that he is, decided to post a video with him and his mystery girl and a bunch of the girls he was simultaneously talking to on Snap.
A little more context on this. He only posted that picture with the mystery girl because he was getting so much slack about, having his hand in the sugar bowl. So he couldn't take the heat on X. And he said, hey, I'll show you how straight I am. Here's me with a girl. And after that, he exposed his own damn self. And so the rest of this beautiful, tasty morsel of truth is exposed to the light.
Snapchat were like, wait a minute, you were only talking to me. And then another girl commented, and another girl. Naturally, these women started to compare notes, and that's where the floodgates opened. That's where these allegations started to come from.
America failed women tonight. People voted for it. We failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives.
Trump bullied, assaulted, and stripped reproductive rights away from women all across the country. And instead of standing against it, many voted for it. We have failed our daughters, mothers, and sisters. He only cares about women, it seems, when he is talking about murdering babies. That's what that is. Now we can talk about exceptions, we can talk about each state and its laws regarding. However, that's where Harry seems to be most vocal when it comes to women's rights. Here he is meeting Joe Biden.
I'm good, man. How are you? I hear a lot of great things about you.
I hear a lot of great things about you too.
That's because you say them.
Well, you know what?
Why is the handshake so long?
That's because we pay you to say them. That's a lot more accurate right there. But again, I just got to get the fillers in. I just got to give the full context of what's really happening in each situation. My mom always told me I always got to answer for something. Yes, I do.
What is going on?
Because you do a lot of good stuff, and the other guy really sucks.
Us two liberal men MAGA is scared of.
Oh yeah, by the way, they come in a pack. No Diddy. They travel in a pack, in a group, these types. They have like their little coalition of white dudes for Harris. I mean, I'm dead ass serious. These are literally the white dudes for Harris. The dudes wearing the whole that's them. Him and his buddies. Now, here's the thing. A story like this would not interest me in most other cases. It's like I would have to report on every single dude who's a player, whatever it is, right? Talking to multiple chicks, like, what's the real story there? Individuals need to choose the type of life they're going to live. Are you going to live with the value of family and, somebody who is actually loyal and faithful to a relationship? Or are you going to be a dog and be for these streets? That's a completely different conversation. What I'm getting into is the depth of hypocrisy, how the very same people who purport to be these male feminists, in the same way I was talking about that preacher on that pulpit who is preaching against that one sin that he just can't let go of, is oftentimes found to be the very same one You know, I've seen a lot of these stories of pastors talking about the zest monsters and the zestiness and the spirit of zest that has taken place within the church, only to find out that he is the zestiest of zest monsters. So when we have our Sisson over here, you know, who is so deeply distraught, who is so broken by the fact that America has let down our women, he happens to be the very same one who uses and discards. Is that discards? Discard? Discard? It's discard, right? Discards? Yes, it's discard. Leave that in a comment. It seems to be the very same individual. And for me, these things need to be brought to the front of the congregation. These things need to be brought in front of a jury of at least 12 peers, right? Whoever's about to show up for this, to say, look at the hypocrisy. These are the individuals who are trying to tell us what it is to be virtuous. These are the individuals trying to create a standard for our society of if you don't believe in these things and you don't stand for these causes, then you are the problem. These are the same people who told us that we were destroying the planet because we weren't trying to buy the damn EVs and we wanted the car with the gas. We wanted to hit the pump. We wanted to make sure that if we stopped somewhere in a random city or whatever it was, that damn it, there might be no charge stations. I can't afford to just drive every 2-3 hours and have to charge up. Like, there are some of us who just didn't want one of them little, weird looking cars. Now, I had a Prius for a little bit and it actually drove beautifully, but that was a hybrid. It was actually one of my favorite cars as far as driving back in the day. But not everybody wanted one of those. Not everybody wanted a Zest box. You understand me? Not everybody wanted one of those. But we were forced by this crowd of individuals who are telling us that there are moral superiors. These are the very same people who are now literally burning and blowing these damn cars up. Ain't that something? These are the very same individuals who are blowing up the cars that they were trying to get us. You must buy Tesla. Tesla is saving the world. All of a sudden, burn a Tesla. What? What happened to the climate? What happened to saving the world? What happened to global warming? Sisson, what happened to our women? What happened to letting our sisters down? Are those young girls right there not somebody's sister? Are those young girls right there not somebody's daughter that you are soliciting, that you are emotionally manipulating using your power and influence? Oh my God. Harry, are you not using your power and your influence at this very moment to finesse and finagle? Again, I'm not mad at you. I'm not in the game. I retired from that, you see. I'm not into the manipulation and the mental gymnastics anymore. I'm not into the Jedi mind tricks. I'm not. I might have dibbled and dabbled at certain points in my life. I can't lie about that. But I said, nah, this ain't the way I want to live because I want a relationship that's actually going to be a relationship. I don't want something on the basis of projecting an image of who I am, etc. That's why I fell out with the whole red pill ideology. A lot of that is still rooted in this is how I want to be perceived and projected in the world. This is how you move through life in order to be seen this way. So these ones can be attracted to you. No, if you don't like me for my crazy, quirky type of self, then to hell with it. To hell with whatever you got going on. I'm going to live as I'm going to live. Authentically, real, damn goofy, foolish, whatever the hell you want to see me as, I'm all that. You understand me? But at the end of the day, I'm me. And so for me, I say, look, you could have just as easily said, here's the thing. In the words of Big Pun, hey, I'm not a player, but I like to a lot. You understand me? You could have just said, well, I want to have a roster. I want to dibble a dab. I want to be for the streets. I actually kind of want to be a dog. And we would have said, you know what? Okay, go ahead, do you. But instead, you put on the disguise, the mask and the cape, Captain Saving No Damn Body. The male feminist. Do you know who else was a male feminist, folks? By the way, FYI, do y'all know who was a male feminist? I'll wait. Harvey Weinstein. I know, I couldn't wait. Harvey Weinstein was a self-proclaimed male feminist. A self-proclaimed male feminist, Harvey Weinstein, stood for women's rights, made sure that women were always cast in his films. As a matter of fact, he made sure that he had, a few very strong leads in movies such as Kill Bill. Interesting. Interesting how that works out. And I'm not saying every single one, just like I said, with pastors, etc. There might be some who genuinely believe some of this stuff. And, they really, truly are that. Because I believe you don't have to be a feminist in order to care about women. That's just a label. I care about the women in my life because I'm hopefully a decent human being at least half the time. I care about the women in my life. I care about the men in my life. I care about myself. I care about you as much as I can. So in order for me to kind of make sure that I'm standing up for women's rights, I just say, look, you're human. You deserve every single human right. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're the same. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that men and women are the exact same. No, absolutely not. There are things that we can do easily that y'all can't do easily. There are things that y'all can do easily that we can't do easily, or even if at all. There are definitely things we can't do at all. Let's be honest about that. There are things we definitely can't do. You know what I mean? We can't do that. We can't bring the life into this world. We can't do that. I did a video on the so-called first pregnant man in the UK. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. But I digress. Harry. He's just a cautionary tale. And for anybody out there, who you might be living a double life or something like that, it's not worth it. Just be who you are. If you're a zesty monster, then don't be in front of your congregation, in front of your, the church, the synagogue, whatever the hell it is. Don't be up there spewing whatever sort of anti blah, blah, blah when you got that going on. The reason I speak on values, morals, etc., the reason why I can speak so vehemently about cheaters and things of that nature is because I'm not that. It's really that simple. Now, there are things that I can't speak on, and I can't because I'm like, look, I'm in that boat. I'm in that boat. I'm in that boat. I'm in that. But there's a lot of boats that I made the decision to step up out of. And at the very least, I hope I can say something that sparks something in somebody else to be like, oh, yeah, it's not worth being in this boat. This one is not worth it, buddy. If that's what you want to be, I'm not going to stop you from that because you never proclaimed to actually want to be anything else, right? You pretended to be something completely different. But you actually don't because your actions are speaking louder than anything else. So, yeah, I wanted to share this one with you. And I tried to record this the first time, but I was like, nah, it was too much just about him. You understand me? It's like, and there's too much material. Oh, hello. That's way too close, buddy. There's too much material here for me to just go in and on, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is not just to cook and roast him for, just the obvious things that we can just point to all day long. Everybody on X has already done enough of it. So if you would like to see that, then go on X and just type in Harry Sisson and you will see enough material to last a lifetime cooking this dude. But for me, I wanted a takeaway for us to say, always be cautious and be wary of the message that you are giving to the rest of the world. Your character matters more than your reputation because at some point, your reputation is going to catch up with your character. And the difference between the two, your character is who you truly are. Your reputation is who people think you are. At a certain point, those two are going to match up. Diddy, at some point, he had a different reputation than he had character. Now, his reputation is his character. So, take that how you will. Take that. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.